I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings in the movies, and I'm not proud of my address.
We're not just building muscle, we're building men. In the quiet hours, in the unfiltered moments, in the conversations that happen before the world wakes up. This is the Gloom, where brotherhood forms in the dark so we can lead in the light, where vulnerability is strength and leadership is handed from man to man, one story at a time. Our mission is to empower, exhort, and inspire men to achieve their best selves through stories of reinvigorated male community leadership. We bring you weekly interviews with F3 Omaha Pax, ordinary men doing extraordinary things in fitness, fellowship, faith, and leadership. Because we believe that every man has a story, and reinvigoration starts when that story is shared. This is the Glue in the Gloom. Shout out to our sponsors, Avior Wealth Management, Liberty Core Real Estate, Major Team Mortgage, Exclusively Eye Care, Omaha Laser Dentistry, and McNamara Law Firm. We appreciate your support. Hey, are you the type of guy that likes to get up early in the winter to battle your jester? Do you love listening to people drone on and on and on about COVID in the gloom? Would you trust your vision to a guy nicknamed Cataracts? Well, if the answer to any of these questions is yes, fellas, you have bigger problems than you think. Dr. Cataracts, aka Dr. Wolf, can't solve all of your problems, but he can certainly help you solve the problems related to your eye health and vision. You will find many F3 principles throughout his practice. Check him out today at Exclusively Eye Care. Yo, Gloom listeners, it's the Plague. Let me talk to you about our F3 brother, Amazin, aka Patrick McNamara with McNamara Law Firm, right here in Old Town Elkhorn. Amazin helps small business owners set up their companies, draft and review agreements, and make smart legal decisions so you can focus on growth instead of putting out fires. He also helps families with estate planning, like building living trusts that make sure your kids are ready when the time comes. Don't leave their future to chance. Connect with our brother Amazin today at McNamara Law Firm and put the right plan in place for your business, your family, and your future. Now, let's get back to the gloom.
And we're live. This is the Gloom, coming to you from the Nomad. Stripes here in the co-pilot seat once again. The Plague to my right.
Yeah.
Not just Plague, it's the Plague.
That's right. Get it right.
And the man of the hour is our man Snare here. The Minuteman.
That's right.
That's from Lexington legend.
I don't know about that.
Well,
Okay.
great to have you. Awesome. Really excited to hear your story. So we always like to just start out with your EH story. Who EH'd you? If he happens to be in the room. That first beatdown, where it was at, what it was like for you. And of course, how you got your name.
You bet. All right. Well, I'm going to have to give all the blame or credit to my man Plague over here for bringing me out to the gloom. It was probably about this time 3 years ago that I think you started saying, hey, why don't you come out 5:30 in the morning? We're going to meet up with a bunch of guys in the parking lot. We're going to work out. It's going to be great. You should do it. Be really great. I was like, I don't know about that. Really, that sounds a little bit fishy, but you did. You kept on me. You kept asking very respectfully, just kind of giving me my space to make my own decision. And then it would have been like October of that same year.
Yeah.
I went out to Bunstown for Saturday morning workout, and it was, I'm not sure what I was expecting, to be honest with you. You kind of walked me through, Plague, a little bit about what was going to go on. And it was that, like, I remember Light Bright was the cue that day. And
nice.
we did I think what is a traditional beatdown.
Yeah.
And then, came time to NameORama, and, you know, it's all the questions, right? Like all your life story. And for whatever reason, playing drums in high school, that became it. So there was Snare, and that's when it was born. And so that was the first workout. And I do remember going home that morning and just talking to my wife about it. She's like, well, how was it? Was it what you thought it was?
Yeah.
Was it great? Do you want to go back and do it again? I was like, gosh, I don't know. Like, these guys get up early, and like, it was harder than I thought. Like, I hurt. My legs hurt. It was way more running. And she's like, well, you should try it. You should try it again. I said, you know what? You're right. we'll give it one more try. We'll come back on Saturday, see how it's like. And it's kind of Saturday was my day for quite a while. And I'm not sure if it was the second workout or the third workout, but we did a mosey around Bennington Lakes. And, I was maybe not completely out of shape, but I wasn't in great shape by any means. And I remember getting done with that and watching all the everybody run and have really no problem. And here I'm struggling to run 4 miles.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, at that point, I came back after that one. I'm laying on the couch, my shins hurt, everything's hurting, and I'm like, if these guys are going to run like this, like I don't think this is for me. I really don't. But I made the decision. I was like, I'm going to keep coming out, and we're going to just see how this thing goes. And so I was a Saturday guy at Bunstown for quite a while before I started branching out and doing some other days. But that's how it all got started. Turns out my shins recovered, and I was able to run. But one story that just sticks out early on, we were having coffee afterwards, and I was talking to Cheap Seats, and he's like, well, how's it going? How are you doing? How are you feeling? Like, what do you think? Like, gosh, I don't know. Like, I just can't, I just don't like running. I really don't like running, and I don't enjoy it. I've never have. I don't see the point at all. He's like, oh no. He's like, pretty soon you'll be pre-running. You'll be doing pre-work. And I'm like, I don't think so. Like the beatdowns are enough. And now you're telling me I'm going to be wanting to come out and pre-run and do pre-work. And he was right, ultimately. Like I started doing some of the pre-work, and I think that's where it really takes off. It's really where it took off for me, kind of that next step. But begrudgingly, he was right. I did pre-run. I still don't love it. I do it because they say it's good for you.
I remember, so we worked together, right?
Yes,
and I remember kind of early on in some of our meetings at work, just identifying like, okay, this is a guy I think we have a lot in common. We're, family stuff. And obviously we can get together and complain about work. But we went to lunch at the warehouse out in Bennington. And I had never been there, which is it's a fine establishment out there in Bennington. But I just remember even that first conversation with you, being able to both of us get kind of vulnerable, share how we were processing life and the world around us and kids' education and, that sort of stuff. And so I just have always appreciated that about you. I think you also, I guess, talk us through because you were working out before, right? What was your fitness regimen like kind of pre-F3?
Yeah. So I'd say I was pretty involved with sports and in high school and did all the co-rec scene in college. So I was pretty active, and then had a few setbacks injury wise. And so that kind of is the first chink in the armor that goes, and then you find other things, right, that you can get busy with, and slowly you kind of get out of shape. And there was a time when I got to a weight that I was like, oof, look at the scale. That's not good. Yeah. And so I had started getting back into it, and I kind of just did the workout from home. And it was actually really great. It was, my wife and I would work out together. We'd do the same sort of workouts. And it was actually really great for us as a couple, because it was time that we got to spend alone together. Kids were asleep usually. And it was just us, and it was something that we got to do together. Young couple, both working, both, grinding it out. And it's just kind of our time to be together. And it was really good, and we enjoyed it. But it wasn't, I felt like we were sort of doing, while we were doing the same workout, we were kind of doing two different things, right? I was over here kind of doing my thing, and we were kind of all following along, and it was good, but it was not maybe the same thing and same pushing that you get from an F3 workout with a bunch of guys who are there to push you along in a different way. So, but no, I was not completely out of shape, but as I said, I'm not a runner. And those first few workouts, there was a lot of running, and I just, I kind of learned to run from the F3 guys.
Yeah. What was your first non-Saturday post? Do you remember that? And how did you progress to now? When I think of snare, I think of sandbags. I don't know why, but how did you progress
I do like the sandbags. It would have been Badger Point. So
okay,
that would have been my first branch out beyond Saturdays.
Okay. What was that like? Do you remember? Or I guess what led you to say, okay, now I'm going to try another day?
I think it was just Saturdays were going better, right? Yeah. And it's what's the next step? What's something else that I can do? I'm feeling good. I'm feeling better. Like it doesn't take all week to recover and get back ready for Saturday. I can be ready in a couple days. So I think it was just what's that next step? And I think like that is one of the great things about F3 at large.
Yeah.
Is it meets you where you're at, right? Like it doesn't matter if you're a triathlete, if you're just a guy who's just starting and trying to get back into shape, or wherever you might be. Like it's a great space to meet you where you're at and encourage that next step, right? So I just think it's a tremendous place for guys to grow and get better in a supportive environment.
Yeah. Well, that's what made me come around to you, because for a long time I was kind of like, oh, the jury's still out on this guy. He's coming to Buns on Saturday, but he's not coming to my side on Tuesday. So I don't know what's going on here. And he started showing up on Tuesday, and now you're like a 6-day-a-week guy, basically. I mean, it's rare that you're not posting unless you're, out of town, or something like that. So I'm kind of curious. I know you weren't like this totally out of shape guy that made a huge transformation, but I distinctly remember when the vest started going on and you started this Murphin, and like there was like a whoa, now Snare looks like a starting linebacker for the Giants, or something like that. Like, do you feel like you made a big transformation from just, or at what point was that you feel like you kind of wanted to take it to the next level of, you talked about doing the pre-work, but really, because I mean, I think a Snare now, I think a hammer, like he's going to go out and, hold his own in any type of environment. So when did that happen for you? Do you feel like?
So I think it was the challenges, right? I think that a lot of us are super competitive. We come from, athletic backgrounds. We played sports in high school, college, even the professional level. And so the challenges, I think, are what did it. I was like, Murph challenge. I'm like, what's that? Right? It sounds great. Let's do it. And so like, it's like all things. The first time you do it, you're like, oof, that was harder than I thought. And, I hadn't done pull-ups for a long time. So my back hurt for a while. And then you realize, well, okay, I can do this. And you keep pushing yourself. And then it's, what's the next step, right? What's the next step? And so what's a Murph? Oh, you do it with a 20-pound vest? All right, let's try to add the vest and let's see what we can do to keep pushing. So I think it's that same acceleration, right? From just showing up to that first beatdown, doing pre-work. What's the next step to improve yourself and be better than you were the day before?
What about the cinder blocks and sandbags? Like how did you progress? How did you get into that?
So, I mean, the bags was Duffman, and he's like, you should try this. And I was like, I don't know about that. He's like, no, you should try. Like, just try. Just come and do it once. And I was like, you know what? We'll do it once. We'll try it. And I think that and it's getting even more this way, but the great thing about F3 is, again, it meets you where you're at, right? So whether it's a weight site, whether it's a running site, whether it's a traditional beatdown site, whether it's the bags, it's where you're at. Yeah. And I think that like it hits different areas. Throwing around a bag is way different than a body weight beatdown. One's not better or worse than the other, but it's a different type of fitness. And you think about what you do on a daily basis, it kind of replicates that a lot. You're taking kids, you're bringing in groceries, you're carrying, the kid's suitcase up 4 flights of stairs in Colorado because why did they bring that much stuff for a week-long trip?
And why would they carry their own bag, right?
Right. Well, they're old enough now; they do carry their own bag. But at the time, you're like, what can I do to be different? And it's such a functional thing. And Duffman was always encouraging me to, hey, you got to do this, you got to do this. So that's how I got into bags.
I love it. It is so cool, and how fitting, right? I know we'll talk about leadership, but your role as a first FQ to have all of that stuff, like in your so you get it, right? You get it that it's like we're not trying to have more beatdown sites or more whatever sites. We're just trying to have the sites that guys need,
right.
Which is beautiful. Talk me through. So from a fitness progress standpoint, I know you're really competitive, but any goals or sort of major progress that you feel like you've seen? Obviously, maybe lost the weight you were talking about earlier, but
yeah. So I think it's just, as we get older, right? You're in a way fighting father time and degradation of everything, and you're trying to keep up. For me, it was keeping up with my kids. I think that was one of the impetus for keeping and pushing and doing that is just my kids are getting older. They're getting faster. They're getting stronger. How do I keep up with them? How do I not lose a race to them? And how can I do more push-ups than they can? So I think some of that's just you want to be there with your kids. You want to be there with your family. So you want to stay fit to keep up with them as they get stronger and better. And then we all know that being in shape and being strong is a great way to prolong life. And I don't want to live life invalid or anything like that. So I think stuff you do today matters for tomorrow and prepping for tomorrow and being ready for tomorrow. So that's kind of how I did that. And like right now, I'm a little bit banged up. So I think that's one thing that I've learned, right? I last year after Iron Pax, I felt like I was in the best shape of my life beyond like college and high school. So in 15, 20 years, right? That was the best it's been. So I felt really good. And then now I'm kind of learning some patience and learning how to manage and kind of fight through some injuries and get back to where I wanted to be.
Well, what a great segue, because I was thinking the same thing, obviously, with your kids, because I obviously know you kind of practically live a little bit in my backyard, a little bit of a skip.
Yeah, we're like
hop,
neighbors.
skip, and a jump. But so I know your kids are active. I know you're involved in all their stuff. Obviously, many of us have seen OG Monkey and Chipmunk out there. So keeping up with your kids is obviously part of it. But I'm curious to and I think a lot of people want to hear the story about, like, how did you decide to bring OG Monkey and Chipmunk out? And what was that like? And what's it been like to see them? Because obviously they have progressed exponentially. They lead workouts. I think OG Monkey's on the Q Monday, maybe at Wolfden, right? And Chipmunk just left at Riptide the other day. Yep. So talk us through what that experience has been like to see your kids out there.
Yeah. So what brought them out, and I think this is like how guys start coming out too, right? Like you have a good experience and you talk about it, and they're like, "Well, tell me more. Like, how come I don't get to go?" And I was like, "Well, it's for men, right?" They're like, "They'll have a 2.0 workout. Don't worry. Like they'll have a 2.0 workout." And they're like, okay. Just tell us the next time. So it was a 2.0 workout at Bunstown, I think. And they're like, okay, we want to go. I was like, realize what time it is, right? Like you have to get up earlier than you normally do. And they're like, yeah, we want to go. I said, all right, here's the deal. I'll wake you up once. If you wake up and want to go, you come. If you don't, I'm not going to browbeat you to get out there. Mm-hmm. And so I woke them up. They both came out, and it was a football themed workout. And if you know OG Monkey, the kid lives and breathes football. And so he thought it was the greatest thing ever. And then older brother Chipmunk was like, it's okay. It was fun. Like I had fun. And so then they're like, we want to go again. Like, well, there's not another 2.0 workout for a little bit. They're like, well, we want to go. Like, okay, well, if you go, like, just understand that it's not play football with a bunch of other kids. Like, this is what we're going to do. And if you want to do that, like, I'll take you, but you got to hold your own. And so I brought them out. I don't remember the workout I brought them to, but again, same rule, woke them up once. They decided they were going to go. Mm-hmm. They went, and for the most part, they held their own, and they continue to do that and continue to accelerate on their own. And it's been really cool to watch them grow in that environment and be around other positive male role models. And so it's been really fun. And it's kind of fun to watch your kid do something and enjoy it, right? Like I think we all want our kids to find that thing that brings them joy, find the things that they like to do, and they enjoy it. And they're already Chipmunk's already trying to tell me that, well, so there's a site at my middle school. Like, I think I could probably just go to Crucible. I'll just take my scooter, I'll just wheel it up there, and then I'll just go straight to school. It'll be fine. I'll just do that. It'll be great. I'm like, we'll have to talk about that when school starts. So that conversation is going to happen next week. So we'll see how it goes. Well,
they're both the middle school now, right?
They are.
You might have
but OG's not a runner. So
well, how has that carried over too? I love the approach that you took. How do you feel like that's impacted their involvement in everything else? Because I see Chipmunk runs around. Chipmunk has constantly running around the block. I know he did cross country last year and stuff like that. Do you feel like that has really had an impact on their activities in school and the way that they've attacked, all that type of stuff, or talk about the impact or the growth that you've seen from F3 through them?
Yeah. So I think it's a confidence thing primarily.
Yeah.
I think they get enough activities through their other sports that they would physically develop just fine. But I think it's a confidence in being able to lead, in being able to do things that maybe their peers aren't ready to or uncomfortable doing. I don't know that I could have been led a workout with a bunch of my dad's peers when I was, 10 years old and like, okay, here's what we're going to do, and try to tell a bunch of grown men, here's how it's going to be, and come up with something, especially the circle of trust, come up with something that you kind of lay your heart out there a little bit to a bunch of grown men. Like, I don't think I could do that. So I think it's given them a confidence, and you can kind of see it in what they do. Like OG he'll be the guy who's leading his team in warm-ups, right? Because he feels comfortable doing that. And so you can see there's a confidence, and you think about like what's wrong with society, right? And there's a lot of lack of confidence in what you can do, especially among young people. And I think that them being around this environment has given them the confidence to go out and do those things that maybe their peers aren't there yet. So that's where I see it the most from them.
Love it.
It's so cool because I think some of it has to do with how you parent, right? Because I think some guys I've heard, they're like, well, I don't know if my kid is ready, right? But like, how do you know if you don't bring him out? And I love the conversation that you have, and I'm curious if you've ever had any of the men, like the guys there, say anything to you about bringing the kids. Because some guys are like, well, I don't know if I can, say what I would really want to say because there's this young kid there. But that's not true, because you set your kids up to like, hey, there's going to be some, sort of like older guy, like man stuff there, right? And so you need to be prepared for that. But I'm curious, has anybody ever said anything? Or
so I've heard both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
I've heard people say that, hey, this is for men, right? Like, why are you bringing them out? But the vast majority are, hey, they're great. They bring a great energy. It's fun to have them out there. They just bring another level of excitement that sometimes we need out there in the gloom. We're all kind of grinding away at life.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's nice to get a little bit of youthful encouragement out there. And so most people have been very supportive. What I really try to do with my kids is like, you need to be respectful, right? Like, these aren't your peers, right? They're your peers in a way, I guess, but they're not like your age peers. So you need to be respectful, and you need to, like, if they tell you not to do something, like, pretend it's dad telling you not to do something, right? Like don't just be like, he's not one of your buds in that sense. So I think I really try to stress to them to be respectful, and that there will be things that maybe conversations that, hey, guys might stop talking when you come up because they're talking about guys stuff, and it's not appropriate for you. Like, there's just some things, some conversation items that aren't appropriate for, 12 and 14-year-old boys. So like but there are some things, right? There are things that people talk about and that is important for young men. And, we talk about male community leadership, right? If we don't start them young, we don't start them at some point, like, when does it ever start? So I'm glad that they're able to be out there, and that everybody, for the most part, is very welcoming to them. And that means a lot to me that everybody's so welcoming.
So this topic has come up no less than 5 times on the Whetstone with Dredd, one of the founders of F3, and Dark Helmet, our current Nantan. And I think what you told your boys is exactly what those guys, have sort of reiterated. And the fact that, like, because we're open to all men, the beauty of it is 2 guys with the same age kids, one could decide, hey, they're coming out, and another guy could decide, hey, they're not ready, and so I think just allowing that, I love the energy. I think it's it is also funny, just like some of the interactions that we get to have with them, and just thinking, I jokingly have said this at F3, but at least my oldest daughter's aware that my daughters will marry an F3 guy. And that's one of the requirements. My daughters, my oldest is like, when can I start dating? And I'm like, well, you could, maybe in high school, but the guy's got to come to F3 before he can take you on a date first. So I think, like, as a father of 3 girls, like,
But I mean, as a father, right? You want your kids to grow up and be great people, and how do you do that? Right? You've got to be a good role model, and being a good role model, it works for your boys and it works for your girls, right? Because they're looking at you and what you do and how you treat your wife and all of those things for what they should look for and how they should be treated. And again, if you don't start that with the next generation, it's going to get lost.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're doing here, right?
Right.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit. We're on this, kind of fellowship theme here, and we're going in the right order, which I appreciate, Stripes, but. So thinking about, that the 2.0 ring of the circle, Concentrica, how has F3 impacted your relationship with your wife? Because I know, like you said, you were working out together before, so there's maybe some loss of time, but are there other benefits you've noticed?
Yeah. So that's a great call out. I think that we have lost that piece, that time. But I think she sees the benefit elsewhere. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can't do a lot of things in life without a supportive spouse.
Yeah.
And F3 is no different. You can't get up early, completely change your schedule, right? Like when we started, like we were evening workout people, right? Because that's what worked for us. We'd get up, we'd go to work, we'd come home, do all the family stuff, get everybody to bed, and then it was workout time, right? Which, I mean, working out at 10 o'clock at night is better than no working out,
right?
But working out at 10 o'clock at night is way different than working out at 5 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I switched my schedule to start working out for F3, she had to do the same thing. Otherwise, we were completely off. So having her support is amazing, and it allows me to do that and to be involved and get out and work out in the morning. So I think she appreciates that I'm in better shape, that I don't snore anymore, right? All those good things, right? So there's benefits of F3 being out there, but we try to get other time. So like we'll go on walks. Like we do a lot of walks in the evening. Like we'll do the same thing, but instead of going and trying to do a high intense workout, like we're just going to walk.
Yeah.
So we've switched it up, but we still get that time. We wish we had more time, but someday, right? Someday when the kids move out, we'll be back to just us.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Well, tell me a little bit about building other relationships in the Gloom. Like, I don't know if you have gotten into a shield lock or if you feel like, because when you joined, right, the Bennington AOs were kind of just starting to boom and really kind of has expanded in your kind of immediate community. So how's that been?
Yeah. So like when you reached out to me, I think that was maybe like a year or so into my time at Nebraska Medicine.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, like I was always in the office, and then my role now is mostly at home.
Yeah.
And so I think just seeing other men and being able to have conversations and being around other people was a super big benefit for me. The other thing that I really appreciate is that, like, as you go through life, I always wonder, like, am I the only one who feels this way?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and good or bad,
right?
And like all those things, like, am I normal in that I feel like everything? It's kind of the sad clown thing in a way, right? Like everything, I should feel great, right? Fully employed, married, kids, like everything should be going great, but I just don't. I don't feel full in a way, right? Like, is that normal? And so it's really great to have, I think, that emotional support, that mental support of other guys, because somebody's been through it, and can talk about it, can give you their perspective. And whether you take the advice or not, like sometimes it's just good to be able to have those conversations and know that, they're not going to think less of you for that, right? Because for everything you felt, somebody else and probably many more have felt that way too. And so I think that emotional mental support has been just as important as the physical improvement, the physical fitness. And, with my little bit of a injury, when I don't get to go out in the Gloom, I miss it. I miss even just if it's something as simple as how's it going, checking in on somebody else. Like you just miss that bond, that emotional bond that if you don't get it, like you feel empty a little bit.
Yeah. One thing that I would just comment that I don't know if you know this because I never have really told you this. It's kind of like a fellowship thing, maybe in the work ring of the Concentrica. But for me, when I show up to a meeting and I see you there, I see some of our other F3 colleagues there, I'm sort of like, all right, we're going to get some work done. We're going to actually get something done here on this call. Yeah. So I just have this confidence because I know you, right? You're battle tested. Like I know when Snare shows up, he's engaged, he's invested. And so I always appreciate that when I get to see you on a meeting at work. I'm like, we're going to accomplish something good.
You're going to be there. You might as well do something. Right? I mean, whether it applies to a beatdown or a meeting, you better get something done.
Yeah. The other question, talk me through like shield lock. Is that something that you've ventured into? Not yet. Any barriers there? Or just haven't done it. No. Yeah. Okay. So for guys listening, Snare's on the market. It's an interesting thing, right? The shield lock is sort of like, it feels like men dating in a way, but it's really just that accountability structure, and would encourage you to look into that. But the other thing I would be curious with your journey, like, because you kind of brought up something that I don't want to move by too fast, but just this idea of like, am I normal? Like, is this thing that I'm struggling with, or maybe this thing that is really great in my life, but is this like a normal thing? And it takes a little bit of trust to bring that up. So how did you build enough trust with the guys out there to bring up some of those topics to just sort of process together?
So like the first part of the journey, right, it was a physical improvement. And I think you're there to work out primarily, right? That's the initial draw for most of us, I think. Yeah. And so mostly I just listened for a while. You listen to the COTs, you listen to guys kind of talk about things that I think they probably wouldn't share. Like you certainly wouldn't share it at work. Maybe they share it with best friends or something like that. So you just listen, you realize like, okay, this is the kind of group it's going to be, right? We're not here to belittle people. We're not here to judge people. We're here to pick them up. We're here to share. And so I think just kind of, I don't want to say standing in the back, but listening and watching other people do that gave me comfort to be able to go and say, hey, I heard you talk about that. Like, tell me more, right? Because I felt the same way. So I think mostly I just listen to what other people say, and kind of like, that's how I pick up a lot of that. And then it's been kind of nice as you get to get more involved. Like every now and then somebody will just reach out and say, hey, you're right. Is everything going okay? Or, hey, congratulations, saw this happened. So I think it's, people notice, and the more you're around it, the more people can pick up on it, and can pick up when things are going great, and also when things aren't going great, and offer an encouraging word.
Yeah, I love it. I think what's so funny is like the most impactful words that other men have said to me over the years is me too, and so just this universal, like, it's so helpful to know you're not the only one, and whatever it is that you're like the only one that's injured, you're not the only one that's had issues with drugs and alcohol, or the only one who's had a miscarriage, or like all of the things. Right. And so I would just encourage guys to continue finding that courage to share whatever it is you're going through. Cause even if the other guy doesn't have the solution, hearing me too, and here are some things I did, but it's still hard, I don't know. It just has been so helpful.
Yeah. I feel like as men, right? Like we're called to be the leaders, and in a way bear a lot of emotional baggage, right? And whether it's right, or that's what that's actually what's asked of us. I feel it, right? Yeah. Like you're carrying a lot of that weight for your community, whether it's your family, whether it's your work team, whatever, like you carry that. And sometimes, like you said, me too. Okay. I just hearing that, right? Yeah. That's comforting. Like there's somebody else who knows I'm okay, and I can move forward. Right. And that's sometimes just, you need to hear that and then move forward, and life's okay.
Yeah.
Well, and to me, it's almost mind blowing how now that we've all kind of discovered that, like, how did we even get through some of those situations without it? And obviously, the faith piece is always huge. What many of us have leaned on. But I was just talking to two different guys about two different situations this morning about that. And the tendency is to just bottle it all up, right? Be the protector, don't express your feelings and emotions. But that's the beauty of this group that you've experienced, that you talked about, to where, you can let those guards down, and you can relate, and you can connect, and you can, it's just therapeutic to get through those situations with other guys that have been through it too and that can relate.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were going to do a very appropriate transition to third F there.
That's what
I was letting you. I was letting you take
it.
That's your baby.
No, I love it. I third F sort of weaves through it all. I think, right? I heard Dark Helmet on a podcast earlier this week, and he said it was like, kind of this hidden secret about F3. It's not really hidden anywhere, but talk us through your faith journey. Would love to hear like kind of your upbringing part of it too, and kind of where you're at today.
Yeah, you bet. So I was born and raised in ELCA Lutheran. Did all the small town church things, right? Youth group trips, and then got to college and continued in college. In college, I met my wife, and she wasn't at the time, obviously, but met my wife, and she was Catholic, and so I was like, well, this is interesting, right? Let's see what that's about. And so we had a lot of conversations as a couple about faith and religion, and as things got more and more serious, we started going to each other's church. We'd stack it, we'd go back to back, and then we'd talk about it, right? Like all the differences, all the things that were the same. And we, really, if you look at it, Lutheran being a Catholic are really not all that different. There's way more in common than there is difference. And she was an amazing faith-filled person, is an amazing faith-filled person. And so, very inspiring to watch her live her faith journey. And so, we continue to be, she's Catholic, I'm Lutheran, we're married, we're doing everything. And then, we were expecting our first child, and we're like, we needed to do faith as a family. It needs to be something that we do together as a family. It's our time. And so we started exploring what the Catholic faith was like. And turns out it was close enough, and there's a lot of really great things. There's some people don't like it, but I like that you can go anywhere.
Yeah.
You can go anywhere in the world, and it's kind of know what's going on. You can go to Germany, even though you don't speak any German, you know what's going on just because it's the same. And so we're both Catholic now and raising our kids Catholic. And it's something that we take a lot of pride in as a family of being active participants in our church. And I think it's talk about raising next generation. It's really important to have faith as a background, because I think it's important to have hope, right? And if you look about all the things that faith can provide you, hope is one of those things to me that there's hope and purpose in faith. And if you have those two things in life, you're a long ways towards being successful and getting through adversity.
I love it. It's so cool. I'm glad you shared how you and your wife did that, because I think it's always interesting to me, and that you had the conversation. It's also interesting that we
had the conversations before we got married, and we spent a lot of time talking about that, and we almost did our own marriage prep. We didn't realize it at the time, but we did our own marriage prep kind of course together, because we talked after mass, after service of all the things, and we'd sit there, and at first it was we'd argue with each other if whose was better, right? Mine's better, and no, mine's more right.
Nobody does that.
Right. And we're like, wait a minute, hold on. We're arguing about the 1% over here. What about the other 99% of it that's the same?
Yeah. I love that. And I think that process, or just that sort of desire to pursue together, is such a Holy Spirit driven thing. It's just it's so cool to hear. And I love that you talked it through, before you got married and then having kids. So often we hear guys struggle with how to search for that again, especially it's almost like you go to college, you stop going, and then you're like, I'm not sure if I can show my face there again or go back. And so I just love that you shared your processing.
It takes somebody. I was very fortunate that we had an amazing pastor when I was in college, and he was an amazing man. So it was easy to go, right? And then I'm interested in this girl, so I'm gonna go check out the other the Catholic church too. So it was actually I was highly motivated to check it out and keep going.
I'm Lutheran now. I would be whatever my wife was, right? Because that's what she was, the driving force that got me to keep going.
There you go.
Talk me through when you're thinking about faith and sort of the F3 definition. have you enjoyed that, or have you struggled with that? Some guys will say like, it's not enough. It's not enough religion or faith, or not enough Jesus or whatever. But how have you processed that?
Yeah, I said, I really actually never thought of it in those terms. I think that as you go through, like, you find some guys that they'll have every COT that they do as a Bible verse.
Yeah.
Right. Some guys don't really ever talk about it. Right. But I think, again, the good thing is, you know who those people are after you go, right? And you've kind of getting more vulnerable, getting more open, and you know who to talk to now. So I don't know if there should be more or less. I don't know, but I do think it's. I'll go back to my point, right? I think without something bigger than yourself, a purpose, without hope, like, I think we're kind of lost. And I think that having that as a foundation is good, and you can go wherever you want to from there.
Yeah, I love it. But talk me through so third F sometimes we think of as like the faith, like spiritual part, and then also this like community service part. Tell me about that. Have you gotten a chance to do many of the like brush up projects or Heartland Hope or any of those sorts of things?
Not through F3. We've done them through other organizations.
Okay.
But I mean, mostly that stuff through F3 has been like food drives and things like that, like smaller. I would say it's probably the F that I don't do as much through F3, but do through other groups.
Yeah.
But I do see it, right? You see the impact that we can have on whether it's an organization or, another PAX member, right? Who might need something. And I think that support for others is great.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we do it, and I'm glad it's a component because we should give back.
Yeah.
And however you do that, it's kind of up to you, but it's a good thing.
Kind of wild, right? Just a random $20,000 GoFundMe page, for
right.
I
mean, I actually think that's one of the more impressive things. Yeah. You go look at some of those GoFundMes and you're like, I think Stripes, you did one recently. I think you set a goal, and I kind of chuckled because within like 5 hours, the goal was passed, and you snuck in another goal. And
I don't do that. GoFundMe did that themselves. They'll keep raising the bar, which I think is a great feature to it.
I've never done a GoFundMe, but it is kind of neat to see the impact and of how whether you know the person or you have really well or you don't, like there's a bond, an F3 bond that's there, and you can you're going to support somebody because they're trying to better themselves, and if you can help them do that in whatever way, right? Whether it's an encouraging word or dollars or whatever that is, like it's so supportive, and it gets people to where they need to be in a better spot.
Oh, I love it. Well, talk us through. So you were former Site Q at the Berm,
correct?
Right. You obviously had a BQ, led several workouts, and are now taking over some first F stuff. So talk us through like leadership, and would love to hear like, I don't know, as you went through VQ, Site Q, how were those experiences, and maybe what did you learn?
So I think two things. Number one, keep it simple. Don't try to make it more than it needs to be. And then give boundaries, and then let guys do their own thing. So I think on the VQ, right, one of the things is like, I want to do something new. I want to do something crazy. Like, understand your audience, know who's going to be there. Keep it simple, keep it targeted to your group, right? And that can be different things as you go on to do different workouts, right? Like, you can make it more complicated if you have like a core group, but when you have a big group, you got to target, right? So keep it simple and keep it targeted to your audience. And then I think as a Site Q and then first F, right? You want to, here's the standards that we need to adhere to, right? Here's some helpful information to help you succeed, but like the rest of it's up to you and how you want to do it, right? Free to lead, we always say in the Gloom, right? Free to lead. But like, there's got to be some bounds on that. And that's true with really anything in life. If you don't give people a general direction or general guidelines, they're either lost, confused, or do something that you didn't want them to do at all. And so that's a couple of things that I think I've learned. And I think just making sure that people feel supported would be the third thing.
What, talk us through kind of the, just the setup and the transition from going to a 1 day a week guy to posting a lot more. And then when, obviously you were at the Berm a lot. So then when Schnitzel talk to you about taking the flag, what were your thoughts on taking that next step in that kind of leadership journey and then going on from there?
Yeah. So it was, well, I'm already there anyway, so I might as well carry the flag. And the second thing was, should probably check with my wife first and make sure it's okay that I do this.
Yeah.
And the third thing was, well, I guess I can't run to the berm anymore. I'm going to have to go bring the flag and get up early and make coffee.
Yeah.
But no, I was really honored to be able to carry the torch there. A lot of great guys who were there, and it's always an honor when somebody asks you to take that role and to do that and to support the organization, and a little bit humbling too, to realize that somebody would ask you to do that.
Mm. What, when you think about reinvigorating male community leadership, what do you think it is that maybe you have learned from F3 that you've been able to take into other areas of your life? Like what is that? Or maybe are there things that we're missing that we should be doing to help with that mission?
So I think it's meeting people where they're at. I think we all have our own ideas of where people should be or what they should be doing or what somebody else should think, but that's not necessarily always the case. And I think taking the time to understand where people are at and meeting them there. And F3's, you can look at it all over the board. Excuse me. Whether it's fitness, right? I mean, you've got guys who are coming in as world-class athletes to guys who haven't worked out for years, right? And we meet them where they're at, whether that's picking up the 6, whether that's the Q modifying the workout so we're not running 4 miles, right? We're going to do something different. Like, I think F3 does a really good job of meeting people physically, right, where they're at. But I also think mentally too, right? Like, some guys are ready to jump out and lead. They want to go right away, right? There's queuing opportunities. There's opportunities there to do that, to kind of be the engagement guy, right? To like, hey, we need you to get more guys to come out there. And then there's people who, like me, right, kind of want to sit in the background for a while and just kind of absorb it and see if this is really for me. But everybody was always welcoming, right?
Yeah.
Every time I came back on Saturday, always welcoming, always glad I was there, always saying, hey, come and do something else, come and do that. And if I did, great. If I didn't, they didn't like disown me, right? And so I think like it's just a welcoming group that I think if we met people where they're at, with a common vision, right? And we talk about our mission statement, we talk about it every time, right? Yeah. With a common vision, like, you can move things, you can go places.
Yeah. I love it. I think that's really solid. I think too, like, I forget who it was, but we were at a Q source talking about family, having a mission, a clear mission for your family. And I was like, ooh, that is something I have not done. But talk to me about how you've maybe been able to lead your family, having, because now you've got almost half of your household are F3 guys, right?
Right. Technically, yeah. 50%.
So I don't know. I'm just curious, like, on the leadership side, how has that carried over into on the home front, if it has at all?
Yeah. I shouldn't forget, like, my youngest, my 4-year-old, fourth grader, she loves this 2.0 workouts, right? Yeah. So she doesn't get to come to the regular ones, but she always asks, when's the next 2.0? So yeah, maybe we're slightly over 50%.
Yeah.
But I think there's a couple things. First, realizing that maybe you don't have to bear it alone. And being willing to talk, right? Like, again, I think I talk more about things with your spouse. And I don't know if that comes from F3 or just as maturity, but I think being willing to communicate is been good. It's been really enjoyable to watch my boys be around other leaders, right? Other men. And so, like, when I say similar things, right, they subconsciously know, like, oh yeah. Okay, like, I think they pick up on it more. And again, that could be an F3 thing. That could just be my kids are getting older, they're getting more mature. And I just think a confidence too, like a confidence that, like, you can do this, right? Like, you can do this. Lead the best way you can. May not be perfect, right? Like, just like a workout, just like anything, right? It may not be perfect, but it's the best of me today. And that's what it's going to be. And we'll just keep getting better the next day.
Yeah. I love your story because there's so many examples. Every time I ask Dread or Dark Helmet, how do you get better at something? They always say, well, how do you get better at pull-ups? And the answer is, well, you do more pull-ups. And that's sort of the answer with everything, right? You do more, get more reps, and that's how you get better. And I love just like, even when you were talking about when you started doing Murphs, you're like, my back hurt a little bit, but I kept trying and kept, keep going after it. And I think kind of without us even knowing, right, leading a workout is this super chaotic thing that like, you don't know how it's going to go. You don't know how many guys are going to show up. You don't know if what you put on paper is going to make sense, but you come out of it okay. And it sort of teaches us this like, oh, like I can lead and I don't have to have the perfect stuff. And so I just love, like, I see that thread throughout your story that you keep going back to get better and better each time. And I just really appreciate it. Your leadership and your story. Talk me through like anything else, any other advice, or maybe anything we didn't cover, anything that you would want to share as you're thinking about maybe other guys learning from your life experience.
Oh man. So I'll say this. I think who you marry determines a vast majority of your success and happiness in life. And I think you can expand that beyond like marriage, right? I mean, that's the inner circle, right? But you can expand that beyond. And it's probably what many of us heard from our parents, right? Choose your friends wisely and hang out with your people, right? And find your people. And I think as you grow up and as you mature, if you can find those people within that Concentrica, right? That make you the best, that are going to make you be the best version of yourself. Like that's a ticket to long-term success.
I love it. It's really well said. I do think we have enough time for
rapid fire,
the Stripes rapid fire session.
Rapid fire. Oh, man.
And if I was ready, I would have like some transition music or something here, but
lightning round.
Remember the Budweiser hot seat from the old sports center?
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of like this. The Stripes hot seat.
Stripes hot seat. All right, here we go.
We've got some rapid fire questions, quick answers.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be one word answers, but
short
first
answers.
thing that pops into your head. All right. So, site you've never been to, but you want to go to.
Oh man, the farm.
The farm. Most memorable beatdown that you went to, aside from FNG, Psych Q or VQ, and when you took the flag or passed the flag?
It would be a winter one at Bunstown, running up the hill and getting sleeted, just getting pounded with the wind and being like, what am I doing here? Like, why am I out here? So that was number one. Number two was at the berm. We had a huge snowstorm and Old McDonald got his truck stuck. So that was part of the workout, is getting Old McDonald's truck out of the parking lot. Red Dirt and I pushed him out. So that was the two.
Love it. That Bunstown, was that Star-Lord with the blizzard? Was that one?
It might have been. There's a few of them, but I just remember running up the hill and it was like, I felt like I was running really hard, but I wasn't really moving. It was almost like I was sliding back down the hill. It was terrible. But it was good.
I love that that's a favorite. Yeah. Like that's just we're sick individuals of that.
Right. Well, it was terrible, so it was memorable.
Stands out. Yeah. If you could change your F3 name to anything, would you change it? What would you change it to?
I'll just keep it like it is.
Like snare,
like it is.
You don't have like a favorite drum, like the kick drum or the
kick drum. I played the snare in marching band, so it fits me well.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any F3 names that when you're on the queue, you got in your back pocket that you want to name somebody?
I don't.
No,
I don't. I know people do. I probably do that.
Yeah. The reason I asked that question because I want to start a list. And
we're going to start a list.
Yeah. Lead the witness into those different types.
I feel like at times there are people who do that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The F3 hammer that you see on the queue schedule that you probably want to avoid because he'll stick it to you on the beatdown.
Oh, so I don't know I'm not going to say avoid, but street dance. And it all lives down to his infamous running the hill at Badger, Bunstown, whichever one, right? Yeah. Where we did the longest 11s up and down that backside of the dam. And I had to go afterwards and check and see. It was 100 yards.
Yeah.
and it was terrible.
He's been named more than once.
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
that
Well,
question. So
but sometimes you feel like you want to do that. So it's both sides of the coin.
it hurts Plague's feeling every time that you don't say
No,
Plague.
no, it's okay.
I'm still scarred from his 8-year anniversary one. We had to do bear crawls and burpees, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
F3 guy that you want to get to know better.
Borland in Bennington. I just think I've watched him from afar, and I think his the way he leads his family through what many people would think is just probably the worst scenario possible outside of losing a kid.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely admirable, and I would love to know how he has the strength to keep fighting and keep pushing his family forward. So
Yeah.
Love it. That's a good one to end on. So you're off the hot seat.
all right,
Yeah.
done.
Good. That was
Ran out
good.
of time.
You did good. Where we like to kind of wrap up is like current state. How's life? Do you need prayers? Do you need encouragement? What, if guys are listening, what's something they could check in with you on?
So I think life's great, right? Life's busy. I think the one thing is just for healing for the knee to get better so I can get back out to it. Cause, like I told you guys earlier on, when I don't get to go out cause I'm hurting, it emotionally hurts too. So it'll be great to figure out what's going on. And
Do you have you're going to have a scan or an MRI or?
I'm going in on Monday.
Okay.
So we'll know
Okay.
more whether it's just, I need to toughen it up and fight through it, or if I need to do something different. So
Yeah.
we'll find out.
Stop playing sand volleyball. That's the answer.
Well, stop doing that and football and running and all the things.
Yeah.
It's a cumulative thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Volleyball was just put it over the edge.
We're not good at backing down,
No.
generally speaking, most F3 guys. So
Yeah. I strained my quad this morning trying to sprint. So I've reached the 40 and older club, and I don't know.
you're still a pup.
Anyway, well, I do want to just say how much I appreciate you as a man, as a leader. Like I said earlier, when I see you at work, it gives me confidence just because I know you and I know how you interact, how you behave, and just the man that you are. So I just want to say thank you for that. And obviously your leadership in F3 has continued to help us grow. So just appreciate you taking time to tell your story. So
Yeah.
Appreciate the opportunity.
And to piggyback off that, I just want to say the same thing. You're an absolute doer. I think you set a great example for your kids. I'm excited that the way that you've stepped up and what's ahead for your role in First F stuff. We've got some things coming up that I know that you're going to tackle. And it's just been awesome to watch you grow and to see you in the community and to see your kids out there. For me, it's inspiring because, I've got a son that's maybe not quite ready yet, like what we talked about, but I know that when he gets out there and sees your boys, that he'll want to be doing the same thing. So, you're an awesome father. You're an awesome leader, and appreciate everything that you do for our community and in F3.
okay. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Let's do a little NaMo to wrap us up. Brandon Fleehardy, 40, The Plague.
The Plague. TJ Butler, 47.
Stripes.
Great call. Joel Stenberg, 44. Snare.
Snare. And some guys do like a snare.
I guess, yeah.
What sound does the snare make?
Yes.
That was good. I like
Was
that.
that it?
Sure.
Yeah.
It makes all kinds of sounds.
It's more about-
sounds, great sounds.
Depends
But
on
we
how
have
hard
a
you
guy
hit it.
named hi-hat. So
We
it's
do.
not
That's more of a hi-hat thing.
Okay.
But that's all right.
Okay. Well, we can do the same. Well, I appreciate you, Brad.
Awesome. All right. Nice job.
Scars on our hands, hope in our chest. We're not defined by the weight of the test. Brothers in step, we carry the flame. Different roads, but the heart beats the same. Every man's got a story to tell. From the valley low to the mountaintop, yeah. Every man's got a story inside. Standing strong, we won't hide. Every man, yeah. Every man's got a story. We've been broken, we've been bruised, but we rise again and we don't get to choose. Through the fire, through the fight, every man's story burns in the night. Scars on our hands, hope in our chest. We're not defined by the weight of the test. Brothers in step, we carry the flame. Different roads, but the heart beats the same. On a story to tell, from the valley low to the mountaintop yell. Every man's got a story inside. Different roads, but the heart beats the same. Every man's have a story to tell. From the valley low to the mountaintop, yeah. Every man inside, standing strong, we won't hide. Every man, yeah, every man's got a story. Every man's got a story. Voices rise like thunder, they roll. Truth in the pain, it's shaping the soul. Chains may rattle, but they break in time. Every man's story is yours and mine. From the struggle to the glory, every man's got a story. In the dark or in the light, we keep marching through the night. Every man's got a story inside. Every man's got a story to tell. From the valley low to the mountaintop hill. Every man to the mountaintop hill. Every man's got a story inside. Standing strong, we won't hide.